everybody, it's Lori, and I am here today with a TBR for a Catholic reading challenge. Now, the past 2 years I've participated in the Catholic Challenge for 2019 and 2020, and I was kind of hoping there would be another one, but I haven't seen anything on the blog Carrots for Michaelmas or seen anything on Twitter saying that it's coming. So I went exploring today and I found a Catholic parish in Omaha, Nebraska that happens to be doing a reading challenge for their parish. I believe it's St. Wencesalaus. I'm not near Omaha, so I know nothing about it other than they had a list of prompts, and they had some suggested books for those prompts, and there were 12 of them, so I figured this sounds good. I can handle this. So I went ahead and picked out books for each of the prompts. So the first prompt is Mary, Mother of God, so a book about Mary. And I did choose all books that I happen to have in my house already. That's part of my reading challenges, is helping me to read things I already own instead of buying more books because I'm easily distracted. Anyway, my Mary book is Mary in the New Testament, edited by Raymond E. Brown, Carl P. Doniford, Joseph A. Fitzmer, and John Ruman. My understanding is that this is ecumenical, I think is the word I'm looking for. This is something put together by a group of writers from a variety of Christian faith backgrounds, so not just Catholic, but some different Protestants as well, talking about Mary in the New Testament. So I'm excited to kind of see what this is about. I had this or another book about Mary and apparitions that I was looking at, and this one just sounded more interesting to me, so I went ahead and picked this one out for my book about Mary. Next up is a book by a Catholic novelist. I honestly probably will have no problem with this because I seem to read a lot of books by Catholic novelists, but one of their suggested books, and one that I've been meaning to read because it's the current Close Reads podcast book, but I haven't started it yet because I'm lazy, is Death Comes for the Archbishop by Willa Cather. I have read this before, so this would be a reread. We are also doing another Willa Cather book for American literature this year. I can't remember if it's O Pioneers or it's one of the Great Plains trilogy books anyway. So if it's not this, it may be another Willa Cather book, but I did really enjoy this the first time I read it, and I would like to read it again. This was one of the suggestions that they had as well. Next up is a Catholic classic, and this was one of their suggestions as well that I happen to have on my shelf. The Confessions of St. Augustine. I hope that I'm smart enough for this. I find this intimidating. We shall see. But it's been sitting on the shelf, so I thought I should at least give it a try. The next prompt is good books by non-Catholic authors, and I appreciate the sentiment of this, but I have a little bone to pick with whoever put this list together for St. Wencesalaus Parish, and that's that they put The Lord of the Rings by J.A.R. Tolkien on good books by non-Catholic authors when he was very much a Catholic. Very much. Like they could have done Dostoevsky or something like that. Instead, I think it was just somebody had a little slip of the brain, I hope. But anyway, one of the other suggestions was several books by C.S. Lewis. I did not pick any of their suggestions, but I have had Till We Have Faces on the shelf for a long time. This is the myth of Cupid and Psyche, and Charlotte read this for a mythology class and really loved it and has been nagging me to read it. So I've been meaning to, and this gives me, some sort of, my brain just isn't functioning today. Kind of a kick in the pants to actually get it done. The next topic is on Catholic social thought or action, and one of the suggestions was about Dorothy Day, but it was a different book than this one. But I happen to have Dorothy Day, An Introduction to Her Life and Thought by Terence C. Wright. Brett asked for this a while back, and he really enjoyed it and thought that we all should read it. And again, been meaning to read it, have not read it, so I figured this is a good one for my social thought and action prompt. Next prompt is a book about a saint or holy person, and this is another one I've been meaning to read. St. Thomas Aquinas, The Dumb Ox by G.K. Chesterton. I've been meaning to read more Chesterton, so this is a good place for me to start, I think. I have read some Father Brown mysteries, but I haven't read any of his other more nonfiction works. So I am interested to see what I think of G.K. Chesterton's style with a bit of a biography. Next prompt is a book by a female author. And so I am putting in Your Blue Flame by Jennifer Fulwiler. Jennifer Fulwiler is a convert to Catholicism from atheism, much like me. And I followed her blog for years and years, and I follow her on Twitter and stuff now. And she's written at least one other book, and I've read that book. This may be her second, but I could have missed one because I can't keep track of anything anymore. I got this several months ago, and I've been meaning to start it, and I really meant to start it in the beginning of January, and I just have not opened it yet. Really just need to do it. The next prompt is about the liturgy, and this was one of their suggestions, I believe. Yeah. And that is The Spirit of the Liturgy by Joseph Cardinal Ratzinger, otherwise later known as Pope Benedict. So I feel like I read something by Pope Benedict and I was very nervous to read it because he's such an intellectual. I thought that I'd be too much of an idiot to handle it, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that this is the same, and my feeling like I might be too much of an idiot for this is just not true, and that it'll be a good read. For spiritual classics, I chose Interior Castle by Teresa of Avila. I believe this was also one of the books recommended on their list. It just happens to be one of the spiritual classics I have on my shelf. I read The Dark Night of the Soul by St. John of the Cross last year for my Catholic challenge, and I did not go great, so I'm hoping this one will be a little bit easier for me, but we will just have to see. I'm not going to start this one anytime soon. I think I need a little bit more brain power than I have at the moment for something like this. The next prompt is a book about a Catholic person, and they did suggest Left to Tell by Immaculée Ilibagiza, which I read last year for my Catholic 2020 challenge. But I have more of her books sitting on my shelf, so I thought I would read Led by Faith, Rising from the Ashes of the Rwandan Genocide this year. The next prompt is inspirational. So they had some different suggestions for inspirational books, but I happen to have this on my shelf, and I really find this particular author inspiring. So I've been meaning to read it again. I don't know why I don't read the things when I get them. But that is The Quotable Knox, a topical compendium of the wit and wisdom of Ronald Knox. Ronald Knox wrote... during the war, he was at an all-girls school, and he... Oh, the Mass in Slow Motion. And he wrote sermons for these girls every week, or whatever. And so he did the Creed in slow motion and the Mass in slow motion, which were like books that came out of these sermons that he gave to these girls at an all-girls school during the war. So I really enjoy Ronald Knox in general, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. And then the final prompt is Church or Theology, and this was one of the suggestions from their list that I happen to have around, and that is How the Catholic Church Built Western Civilization by Thomas E. Woods Jr. So basically this is just about how the church has influenced Western civilization. I don't know what I'll think about this book in particular. I've heard good things about it. I had another much longer book of the history of the Catholic Church. This one's like 250-ish pages, and that one was like 500 pages. And this one just seemed to have slightly better reviews, so I thought I'd start here rather than going with the really big one. But yeah, I'm interested to see what I think of this particular book. So those are my Catholic Reading Challenge books for 2021. I'm not technically participating in this challenge since I'm not a parishioner at the parish, but I will link their list of prompts down below. So if anybody wants to join me in just borrowing their prompt list and reading some books off of it, I would love for you to let me know down below and maybe we can talk books. But other than that, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.